let's get started. I'm gonna listen to the old news, I think. Well, so from this one, play it all.
Wonders around the
CNN English Express special interview, in which CNN foreign correspondent Matt Rivers talks about the Chinese public's perceptions of U.S.-China relations and the challenges of reporting from China and other parts of the world. There are many sources of friction between China and the United States: rivalry in trade and technology, human rights issues, Beijing's moves to gain more control in Hong Kong, territorial disputes, and so on. What's the perception of East Asia-related issues among the general public in America? And to what extent do you think ordinary Chinese people are aware of these issues?
Especially given
President Trump's focus on the U.S.-China relationship, I think that it's been more in the American.
now than it has been for years and years and years. So I think your average American is absolutely paying attention to more news out of China. But I also think that as a result of that, you are going to see more American public interest in some of those other issues you mentioned, like American and Chinese military
Interaction in the South China Sea,
Xinjiang, Western China right now. How China
interacts and spreads its influence in places like the Philippines.
With the Chinese
The
public,
Chinese public is very difficult to gauge. Generally speaking, the Chinese public gets their news from Chinese state media,
so
so they don't get free and fair independent reporting. They get government propaganda
fed to them
by the Communist Party.
And there's no good
And
public
there's no
opinion
public
polling
opinion polling
in China. So you can ask, polling companies in the United States, what do you think about China? And you can get a decent cross-section of society where you might be able to get an answer from that. In China, that doesn't exist. With all of that said, though, anecdotally speaking, talking to people in different parts of China, talking to my Chinese colleagues, I think people are paying attention to the trade war. I think they are concerned that it might affect their earning power, their income. You have, state media propagandists who are basically saying that the trade war is like a national pride. China's standing up to the imperial aggressor. So I think the average perception of
America among its Hispanic public right now is going to be more informed about the trade war.
What kind of
influence
or pressure have you felt from the Chinese authorities
during your news gathering activities in China?
They don't influence our reporting in terms of affecting what we
print. We print and report the truth as we see it. The Chinese government doesn't like that. We don't take that into account of what they are like or not. The important thing is to tell the truth. However, they do conceal try to reporting you don't get arrested. You're threatened with arrest. You're followed 24/7 by people who don't define themselves.
We were followed in cars.
We were lied to concealed by officials on the ground in Xinjiang.
It shows you the hypocrisy of the Chinese government on this particular issue when they say that they have nothing to hide about what's going on in Xinjiang, but then they do everything they can to try and prevent you from seeing what's going on in Xinjiang. So you can't really square that circle. So they try and influence us. And to be fair, there are other governments around the world that would do the same thing. We saw that happen in Myanmar as well. So they try. But ultimately, we can't let that affect what we do because we're not telling our viewers the whole truth, and then that kills the whole purpose of our job.
You've covered stories in various Asian countries, and I imagine there are many differences between the Western culture you were raised in and Eastern cultures in general. What would you say is the value or significance of that kind of journey across cultural barriers and into different cultural settings?
I think that when you're a foreign correspondent, someone who is raised in a culture different than reporting, I think the first thing you need to do is listen and not assume that you know how things work in some place that you've never been. And that's why having the staff that we do across all these different countries, I work with Chinese staff when I come to Japan. We've got 2 producers in Japan who can, teach me things that I wouldn't have otherwise known, and they kind of give me that guidance. When we go to Myanmar, we hire a fixer who is local on the ground, who can guide us in these areas. You know, we bring a certain Western perspective, which I think is good because we can help translate what's happening to a Western audience, because we know how a Western audience thinks. But I think when you're a foreign correspondent, the best thing you can do is make sure that you have people that you can work with and rely on who know these cultures that you don't.
Basic training number one. The Loch Ness eel.
A mystery that has captivated the world for the better part of a century. Scotland's Loch Ness Monster. There he is. There she is. This famous photo from 1934 was a hoax, but many people believe there actually is a monster in the lake. Well, now scientists say Nessie may be a giant eel. Researchers took 250 DNA samples from the lake to study its biodiversity. They confirmed there are no reptiles living there.
A mystery that has captivated the world for the better part of it. A mystery that has captivated the world.
Basic training number two. Indonesian capital to move.
Now, Indonesia's president has revealed the long-anticipated location of the country's new capital. Joko Widodo says a forested area on the east of Borneo will replace Jakarta, which is slowly sinking into the sea. The project will reportedly cost around $34 billion. Officials put the timeline for relocation at 10 years. President Widodo admits moving the capital will be an expensive undertaking, but he insists it's a necessary one.
Now, Indonesia's president has revealed the CNN News Digest. Number one. Death of Robert Mugabe.
Former Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe has died. He was 95 years old. He was the first head of government of Zimbabwe after independence in 1980 until November 2017. Mr. Mugabe was born in Kutama in what was once the British colony of Southern Rhodesia. At an early age, he embraced Marxism and fought against black suppression in Africa. He led the Zimbabwe African National Union to overthrow the white minority government of Ian Smith.
Former Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe has died.
Number two. Equality icons become Barbie dolls.
Two women who broke down barriers in the United States are becoming Barbie dolls. Toymaker Mattel says Sally Ride and Rosa Parks made the world better for generations of girls, and they hope the dolls will inspire girls to pursue their dreams. Astronaut Sally Ride was the first American woman and the youngest American to fly in space, and Rosa Parks is known as the mother of the modern civil rights movement.
Number three. Large pumice raft in the Pacific.
A group of Australian sailors found themselves surrounded by a raft of lightweight volcanic rock called pumice. They say it was like plowing through a field. The blanket of pumice is so thick the ocean water is completely blocked from view. The sheet of floating rock was first spotted just days after an underwater volcano erupted. Studies have shown that pumice rafts help redistribute sea life in the ocean.
A group of Australian sailors.
Costco. Number four. Costco opens first store in China.
Costco has built a following in the US, and judging by its first in China, it appears the store will be popular there too. The retailer opened its first outlet in Shanghai, but had to shut down early because of too many shoppers. Police were sent to keep order and manage the traffic jams. Costco has had an online presence in China, but the first bricks and mortar store marks a significant investment.
Costco. Number five. Ads banned for gender stereotypes.
This commercial for VW has been banned in the UK because regulators say it perpetuated harmful gender stereotypes. Man doing long jump with a prosthetic limb, woman sitting next to a pram. The other offensive commercial is for Philadelphia cream cheese. It's crime, it seems, portraying men incapable of caring for a child.
This commercial for
Number six. Boys' handmade logo scores big.
When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, keep that in mind as you learn about what happened to an elementary school student in Florida. He's a huge fan of the University of Tennessee. He proudly made his own UT logo, but when other students teased him about it, it really hurt his feelings. The university eventually found out what happened, and they were so impressed with his spirit, they turned his handmade logo into a real shirt.
When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, keep CNN News selection number 1. Not for sale.
The U.S. President Donald Trump has reportedly expressed interest in buying Greenland. But the Arctic island is giving the president the cold shoulder. You could say a cold response, saying, quote, "We're open for business, but we're not for sale."
CNN's Tom Ford has more on Greenland's reaction.
Completely
Completely insane. He's going crazy. No, thank you.
Greenland over the whole idea that President Trump thinks
President Trump
maybe
thinks
the
maybe the
United States should
buy the world's
largest
largest island
has
has been swift and strong.
I can only laugh. He's lost his marbles. The White House is not saying if this is a serious proposal, and the Wall Street Journal, which broke the story, says
it's definitely real in the sense that he's talked about it a lot, and it's something that's definitely on his mind. As far as how real, I mean, it's not just how real, it's can he actually do it? The answer is probably no.
No, because despite Trump's boast about his business skills, Greenland is owned by Denmark and home to 55,000 people, whose autonomous government has tweeted, "Greenland is rich in valuable resources such as minerals, the purest water and ice, fish stocks, seafood, renewable energy, and is a new frontier for adventure tourism. We're open for business, not for sale." But why does Greenland, which is 80% covered with ice, matter anyway? That's a clue. Greenland is a gateway to the Arctic, and as global warming opens the region to more exploration and traffic, a lot of countries are showing interest, including China and Russia. The U.S. already has its biggest northernmost military base there.
It's located 750 miles north of the Arctic Circle, which remains a critical area of the globe in terms of our ability to thwart and defend against particularly Russian threats.
And history suggests this truly may not be a crazy idea. In 1867, the U.S. bought another huge cold place, which was mocked as a folly. But Alaska has worked out pretty well for American interests, and 2 times before, U.S. officials had raised the notion of buying Greenland. Still, the outlook for this real estate deal is not promising. It's not something you buy or sell. If countries want other territories, it's war. Next month, President Trump will travel to Denmark to meet with the Prime Minister and the Premier of Greenland. Whether he will take his checkbook, no one knows. Tom Foreman, CNN, Washington.
The U.S. President, Donald Trump, has reportedly expressed interest. CNN News selection number 2. Protectors of the forest.
In Ecuador, the Amazon rainforest is being protected from degradation after an indigenous tribe took on the government and is planning to expand oil drilling. CNN's Becky Anderson has this report.
Called the lungs of the earth, the Amazon is the world's largest rainforest and one of the most biologically diverse places on the planet. Its 6 million square kilometers of the forest are a key buffer against increasing levels of carbon in our atmosphere. But this precious natural resource has long been under threat. Now one tribe is fighting back. We came here for our right to live. We haven't come here to negotiate with the government. We came here to get the government to respect our jungle, our land. It's our home.
It's our home.
Nemonte Nenkemo is a leader of the Waorani, one of a number of indigenous tribes that still call the rainforest home. The Ecuadorian government has sought to expand oil production in the region to boost an ailing economy, a move that threatens the tribal way of life. In response, the Waorani people have taken to the streets and courts of Ecuador to prevent the government selling their ancestral lands to oil companies. With the help of an NGO called Amazon Frontlines, the tribe won a landmark case in April, which campaigners say protects 500,000 acres of rainforest. That ruling was upheld against an appeal by the Ministries of Environment and Energy, a second victory for Nemonte and her tribe.
We have won the victory, and this means that our children and future generations are going to live healthy, safe, and happy.
Their story is a rare glimmer of hope in the fight to save the Amazon and could pave the way for other tribes to take similar action. Ecuadorian officials were not available for comment. In July, they said in a statement,
"It is important to highlight that this ruling does not affect in any way the oil production in our country. We confirm our commitment to develop our natural resources with the highest social and environmental standards, respecting the community's rights in the key project areas."
The only message I can give to the other countries is to have a soul, to defend our jungle for future generations, because we are not children, and it's our children who benefit.
While the Wairani lands are protected for now, other parts of the Amazon are at increasing risk. Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has undone decades of rainforest protections, causing deforestation in Brazil to accelerate in June to over 1.5 football fields every minute, and leading researchers to fear the Amazon is at a dangerous tipping point. Unless drastic action is taken, Lemontaian tribes like hers may be the last ones standing in defense of this priceless natural resource. Becky Anderson, CNN, London.
Now let's listen to news selection number 2 at 1.5 times natural speed.
In Ecuador, the Amazon rainforest is being protected from degradation after an indigenous tribe took on the government and is planning to expand oil drilling. CNN's Becky Anderson has this report.
Called the lungs of the earth, the Amazon is the world's largest rainforest and one of the most biologically diverse places on the planet. Its 6 million square kilometers of forest are a key buffer against increasing levels of carbon in our atmosphere. But this precious natural resource has long been under threat.
CNN news selection number 3. Modernization of an ancient art.
Today in Macau, the convenience of technology means that fewer and fewer storefront signs are actually being made by hand. But for one topographer, the painstaking process behind writing and carving Chinese characters by hand is well worth the extra effort. And now he's working to preserve a decades-long art form that's truly of Macau. Christy Listow introduces us to the artist and the delicate balance of his brush.
Imagine a big-headed guy with tiny legs. This would not be good. Just like a human body, Chinese characters need to be in good proportion and look pleasing to the eyes.
In his workshop in an alley in Macau, Lam Wang-Yo is looking for an exact ratio in his handwritten words. For more than 30 years, he's been creating storefront signs in the former Portuguese colony, hundreds of which he says still pepper the Macanese streets.
I've always been interested in Chinese characters. When I was a student, classmates would ask me to write for them because they liked the look of my handwriting. When I got older, people told me that I should open my own business.
A topographer by trade, his work starts with the basics: brush, ink, paper. And each of his characters, Lam says he aims for a trifecta of balance, clarity, and liveliness.
I started doing this when I was 30 years old. At the time, computers were not popular yet, so people still asked you to handwrite for them.
In 2014, a chance meeting led Lam to local typeface designer Benny Tang Pao Yi, a longtime fan of his work.
I would say that handwritten signs, like Mr. Lam's, convey more emotion and humanness, while a digitally printed sign feels lifeless.
Together, the two decided to digitize Lam's handwriting, with every stroke in every character replicated on Tang's computer and immortalized as a typeface. So far, Tang says he has digitized around 300 of Lam's characters. He aims to do up to 13,000 by the end of the project.
As a graphic designer in Macau, I want my work to represent our history and culture. Certain things here are slowly fading away, like Mr. Lam's signs. If we don't take action to preserve his fonts now, there might not be an opportunity in the future.
Technology may have disrupted Lam's business, but it's also opened up new opportunities and came with a couple of unexpected consequences.
I admit I wrote more beautifully in the past. Why can't I write as beautifully now that I'm older? Because I'm lazier now. Why am I lazier? Because I use a computer as well.
Christy Listow, CNN.
CNN newsmakers today, looking at the September attacks on Saudi Arabian oil facilities and suspicions that Iran was responsible for them.
Yemen's Houthi rebels claimed responsibility for the strikes, but there are serious doubts over whether they're capable of pulling this kind of strike off. The Saudis are now asking international experts to join the investigation. Our Nick Robertson is in Riyadh right now and brings us some of the evidence and analysis around the attacks.
It was an attack on the heart of Saudi Arabia's lifeblood, now critically important, determining who is behind the coordinated strikes against multiple targets at two key oil facilities, amid claims of responsibility by the Houthi rebel group in Yemen.
It's clear that this attack was highly coordinated, complex, extraordinarily precise, and it's just not plausible that the Houthis could do this on their own.
Commercial satellite images released by the US government show the scale of destruction, from at least 17 strikes at Saudi Aramco's oil plant and at least 2 at the nearby Khurais oil field. Experts agree the precision shown would mark a major improvement in the Houthis' military capabilities.
You can see very pinpoint strikes that have gone into those oil tanks. There is no damage beyond where the missile actually penetrated the tank. The fact that they have that precise intelligence indicates that there is some kind of a state actor behind these attacks.
Houthi rebels say they used 10 drones to carry out the attacks from Yemen. But US officials say the images show points of impact on the northwest side of the facilities, which they say would be difficult to do from Yemen. Instead, they claim the attacks more likely came from Iran.
These drones could have conducted evasive maneuvers, and they could have come from a number of different places.
When you're talking about drone swarms, they are very difficult to pick up on radar. The intelligence community has some huge challenges in terms of pinpointing facts from where they originated from.
A spokesman for the Saudi-led coalition says Iranian weapons were used in the attack. They say the attack did not come from Yemen, but they are still working to identify the actual launch site. In the past, the United Nations says Iran has supplied the Houthis with drones and missile parts. Iran is disputing US claims, the president saying in a news conference that the attacks are a response by the Houthis to Saudi Arabia's military campaign against the group in Yemen. But the US alleges an attack by Iran could represent attempts to gain leverage amid America's campaign of maximum economic pressure.
If Iran indeed was behind this attack, they used proxies. Now, whether they were from Iraq or Yemen, it's hard to tell. There will be no smoking gun against Iran. Now, how the administration intends to frame this is something else.
As the probe continues to determine who carried out the attack, the question remains: who would stand to benefit most from the attack on the Saudi oil facility? Nick Robertson, CNN, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Benjamin Boas presents My 30-Year Love Affair with Japan, a personal reflection on the allure of Japanese pop culture and